Welcome to Talk to Me. I am your host, Brenda Warren, and it is Tell Yourself Tuesday. And I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Miss Temi Ayodeji. And I have been practicing that name all week long, so I didn't mess it up, and I hope I didn't. Temi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. You didn't mess it up. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. I want my listeners to know that you are a stress management coach, an
Mhm,
artist,
mhm.
and that you use scientific based artistic methods to help provide an emphasis and optimize and celebrate people's innate abilities to overcome life challenges, reducing overall levels of stress.
Mhm.
And you are the CEO and owner of Temi Fine Arts, Modern and Contemporary,
Mhm.
it says, and your artwork is inspirational, abstract, and I see some of it's behind you there,
Yes, yes.
and has a naturalistic painting tent, you know, and you use your artwork to help your clients.
Mhm. Yes, I do.
So today we're going to have a conversation around your artwork, your stress
Mhm.
management coaching, and how that helps us with mental health. Because this week's focus is all about mental health, and I started this week out very stressed and sharing with my viewers on Facebook that I really wanted to come up with a mental health plan that was going to help keep me safe. I'm going to make sure
Okay.
I got my microphone here. And so let's talk about that, Timmy. How do you use your artwork to help people de-stress?
All right. Well, first of all, we need to understand that when it comes to, and before I go any further, thank you once again for having me here. When it comes to managing stress, it's not one box fits everything. Everybody does not fit into the same box as far as managing stress. So I can give you suggestions as to what would help you based upon you, and it'll be could be something completely different to somebody else. So I just want to make that very, very clear. Although there are different things that we tend to share with everybody as far as like deep breathing, go ahead and deep breathe. We teach how to deep breathe, but that doesn't mean that it works for everybody. That's one
Mm-hmm.
thing to take into account. There's some people that just need a break, a 10-minute break to leave the environment. And I always say, take an excuse that you need to go to the ladies' room or to the men's room.
Mm-hmm.
It's the men's room, but it's a place that is completely away from everybody and all the stressors. And you can, just imagine yourself in a place where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself can actually distress you. And then when you come back out, you are like a normal person, then you can just continue with what you were doing before. There's some people that doesn't work. Some people prefer to pray. Some people prefer to have a 10-minute meditation. So you see, it works. Different things work for different people. But in your case, for instance, if you were to tell me that I am so stressed,
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to know what's the trigger, what's causing you to stress out. Because what's causing you to stress out will be the key to determine what suggestions and recommendations I can give you. As far as my art is concerned, that's a different avenue. There's some people that de-stress by painting in
Mm-hmm.
form of art therapy. That's one thing. But in terms of what I do is I have science-based um, methods and techniques that's already embedded in my artwork that when people see, it actually de-stresses them within 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I researched years ago, and I actually used it with my son who's on the spectrum. And I
Okay.
was looking for things that I could incorporate with homeschooling him that will help him stay focused and not get easily distracted, even if it's just a fly. It will completely distract him. I constantly had to get him to refocus. And I stumbled upon this. I thank God I did. It's worked wonders with us at home. It's helped me distress because I have a very, very busy and intense life. And people have come over to my home prior to COVID. They've actually said they came in feeling one way and then they left our house feeling completely different. And I just smile. I don't say anything. I'm not promoting my art. They were at my home for one thing, but I
Mm-hmm.
know exactly what it is. And I always thank God for that, okay, great. This is actually working. And it's science, and thank God for science. That's all I can really say.
So, Timmy, you said something that caught my eye, my ear, my eye.
It's okay.
I hear with my eyes. Um, this is not just that we're going to go somewhere and put a little bit of paint on a canvas. This is actually a system that you came across that helps people de-stress.
It's actually, there was research that was actually done. I'm not going to divulge much about it.
That's right. That's
To me,
okay.
I feel people should do their research, or other artists should do their research if this is what they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
But the research was conducted years ago. And what they had done was the researcher, the person that started, this was about 10 years ago. And what he wanted to do was he was trying to figure out what is so unique about this particular artist that we all know. I'm not going to mention the name. And what is so unique about this person's art? Why is that people are so attracted to the art? And the researcher is a doctor as well. And what he did was he actually had this artist's paintings and noticed and measured people's response to it. And he was able to measure that everyone that he used as his, I hate to use the word guinea pig, but as his subject, their levels of stress actually dropped by 60% within the first minute.
Okay.
Now that is intense if you think about it from that perspective. And I went deeper into figuring out, okay, what is it about the artwork? What are these images that were embedded in this person's artwork that actually caused this? And he actually explained everything. Ironically, for me, I had already been painting. I was already embedding these images, but I wasn't thinking of it as an image that I was embedding. I was just doing it. And I noticed a change in my son, but I wasn't thinking it was the art, because I was praying a lot, which was my form of meditation and my form of de-stressing, just praying and having positive way of thinking rather than saying, Lord, why is this happening to me? It was more like, Lord, I know you're in control. Everything's going to be fine. Those are some, techniques that I tell people to incorporate positive self-talk. So I was already implementing that. Unbeknownst to me, the art was also part of it. And then I tested it on other people without really disclosing what I was doing. And I could literally see it. And it was like, whoa, this is interesting. But there's some people, though, who see my art and they connect with it for a completely different reason, which is the essence of art, to evoke an emotion. So, and when it evokes that emotion, it could be something positive. It could be something that they've remembered. Think about what I said earlier when you're trying to be stressed. You think about a place you want to be. So everything works hand in hand. And I'm so thankful that it's something that I can do now, and I do it on a larger scale to help my clients and just people in general who just love my art and like to have it in their homes or offices.
So just for clarification, when we deal with art in your case, this is not that I will be coming to you to take an art class. This is art that you do that I may purchase or that you would use in a session to help me de-stress.
Okay, so this is how it works. And I appreciate that question. If you come to me, you're surrounded by my art.
Okay.
Art is an aesthetic. So in this case, it's an aesthetic. I love it. You come, it's beautiful. You sit, we have our conversation. Now, when it comes to you painting, that's kind of like art therapy. That's where you have the colors and you basically pour out your emotions in whatever you're painting. I'm not guiding you as to how you're going to do that.
Okay.
So that's different. Now, so that's very, very different. There's some people who enjoy doing that, who like to create. They're not selling the work, but they like to create.
Yes.
With what so that's different. So I'm not providing art therapy, but art therapy is part of the things that you can incorporate in your sessions to de-stress. But I'm not going to call it art therapy.
Got it.
It's a modality that one can implement. Now, in terms of my art, however, there are times that people have seen my art and I've had many times they just see the art and they just stand and they look. And then I start asking questions. What are you feeling? Because stress is a feeling that you really can't control. What are you feeling? And that's when we start talking. Someone might be there to buy my art, and right there within 10 minutes is kind of like a stress management session. I'm seeing it as that, but they're seeing it as, wow, they're having a conversation with me about my art.
Right.
Excuse me. But I go deeper than that because I want them to connect with it. Even if they don't buy the artwork, I want to make sure that I leave a very positive footprint on their mind when they leave, something that they can incorporate in their normal day-to-day life. And I'm just building relationships. So that's one way to look at it. The final thing I want to mention, I'll get to that later on with another question.
I would say this, Temi. So Do you work primarily with adults, or do you also work with children?
Primarily adults. And the adults I really work with right now are couples who are caregivers. And I really target them in particular because of my experience. I used to be a caregiver for my husband
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, and my son, who's on the spectrum. He's the one I currently homeschool. And I know being a caregiver is a task that a lot of people do not. They say they understand it, but you really don't understand it unless you're going through it. It is extremely stressful. And as a caregiver, I understand how it's so easy to let yourself go and not take care of your own emotional health and well being because you're once so focused on the person they're caring for. And when it comes to spousal caregivers, that's a totally different ballgame in itself. So I really love to focus on and enjoy working with spouses. Most of them are women
Mm-hmm.
who just talk to me and just share what they're going through, and everybody's different, and I just work with each one of them case by case, and it's
Now,
wonderful.
someone like me that's been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, is
Hmm.
this something that would be beneficial for me?
Of course, of course, because at the end of the day, it's a form of stress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's at a higher degree, and then it's a matter of me just trying to find out, getting you comfortable and to trust me. That's very important, and to respect what it is that you're going through. I can have 10 people say they're suffering from PTSD. Those are 10 separate cases of PTSD. If there are two that are suffering from the same triggers, it doesn't mean I'm going to treat the two of you the same way. No.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very individualistic, and based upon whatever it is that you share with me, that's when I take it to the next level to find out, okay, what are the triggers? And when you start to stress, what do you do? What sets you off? I like to use lay terms. What sets
Mm-hmm.
you off? And what do you do when you're stressed out? And it's from there that I can say, okay, let's write these things down. This is what triggers you. This is what you do. How can we work about that? How can we prevent these triggers from coming up? But if these are triggers that are constantly there, the question would then be, how can you change your response to those triggers? And these are things that you'll also document yourself so that you have something that you can see, and we will measure it. So
Okay.
if you see me on the first, and this is everything you've told me, we'll measure it, let's say 4 weeks later, and how are you responding to that trigger? You'll be able to see it yourself. And that in itself makes you so happy that, wow, I'm actually in control. And for me, it's like, yes, you are. you know. and
So, how long could someone expect to work with you to help them through, if as a stress measure? Okay, what time? What is the time commitment?
I don't, okay, I'll say this. I don't like to say 6 weeks is a good time frame,
Okay.
but it could be longer. You remember I said earlier that everybody is different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're able to manage your stress within the 6 weeks, and it's measurable, you can see that there's that change and you can continue on your own, fine. We can, end our professional relationship, let me put it that
Mm-hmm.
way. And then he or she can continue to implement everything that has been learned over the 6 week period on their own. There are times, however, that some people might just need longer time, which is okay. The thing is, the one thing I always hope for is I have clients that are receptive and
Mm-hmm.
do the work, because it's just like a teacher. You can teach, but you have to go back home and study and implement everything that you've learned. Because if you don't, and you come back to class, I'm still teaching again, but I have nothing, there's nothing I can measure. And I'm not going to test you like an exam, like a teacher
Mm-hmm.
would, to see if you remember everything that I taught. The measurement comes with the person and giving me that feedback. This is what happened, this is how I responded. Great, did you document it? What you need to do. And there's some cases, a couple of cases where I could not help the client, and I'll be very honest with that,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not my position to diagnose. I
Okay.
would know what it is because I have a background in occupational therapy. I
Mm-hmm.
would know, just like I would know that, okay, there's some underlying issues here, but I'm not going to diagnose the client. What I would actually strongly suggest, and which is ethical for me to do, is to have them or refer them back to their primary care physician. And the reason why that's important is so that that client actually gets the medical help that they will need. And that's something that I cannot provide. I'm very clear on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very honest with that. So I'm not just going to say because I'm trying to keep a client,
Mm-hmm.
I'll provide services that I know, no. They need professional help. They need a physician to diagnose them and then take it to the next level.
Well, Temi, that's good to know. Let's shift gears slightly. Since you've combined the two things that you love, taking care of people with your coaching, let's talk about Temi the artist.
Okay,
Where is
sure.
your arcade? Where are you at in your artist journey, and where can your art be located?
Where am I at? I am at in the position where I'm just creating all sorts of things. And when I say creating all sorts of things, a lot of people are contacting me now to do commissions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I love about my commissions is it gives me an opportunity to sit. I just don't receive commissions via text. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
paint X, Y, Z. It doesn't work that way. I'm
Right.
like, okay, sure, let's talk. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I like to talk and see my client face to face is I really get to see what they sound like, how they really feel.
Mm-hmm.
I've had clients that have asked me to paint one thing, and by the time we're done with our conversation, it's something completely different that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's still incorporating the certified stress management coach aspect of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I do subconsciously, but it's because I really want to know what they're really thinking. What do they feel? What do they want to get out of this artwork? And I always want to produce paintings that when they see that painting, when they walk right by that painting, be it at home or in their office, it creates that feeling of, like I said, inspiration. It evokes these positive emotions that lets them celebrate who they are, that they've accomplished something. And that's why talking to them is very, very important. So I do a lot of that right now, commissions. I still create things normally, just originals, and I just, display them on my website. And yeah, I've had clients, people, I don't want to say clients, they're my friends, who've actually asked me, can I come by and you teach me a thing or two? And I'm like, well, after COVID is over, we can. And I'm looking into doing that. I won't be able to do it from my home because my
Mm-hmm.
studio is in my home. But I'll be able to do it somewhere as if I can find a good space where, I can invite people over, just have some fun and talk and, just enjoy ourselves. And
So even in your art journey as an artist, you're still trying to evoke the emotions that's going to help people be calm and stress free.
I have to, because and I'm very conscientious of what I create. I pray before I create.
Mm-hmm.
It's for me, it's a matter of what is it that you want me to create? What message is there that you want me to get out? I know it's to connect with somebody. Sometimes it's my son that motivates me. Recently, I posted on my website or on Facebook a painting that was inspired by my son called Beautiful Imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on the spectrum, but he's my beautiful imperfection. And
Mm-hmm.
that painting, a lot of people love it because not only the colors, but they love the story behind it.
Yeah.
So every piece that I have, even the ones you're seeing behind me, has a story. And it's those stories that people really connect with. But for those who don't know the backstory, they connect with it for completely different reasons, which I also just love to hear. And that's why a lot of people have actually bought my art because they connect with it for certain reasons. And then when I tell them the backstory, it just solidifies the love that they have for the piece.
So tell me, if someone wanted to view your art or
Yes,
get
ma'am.
in touch with you so that you can
Mhm.
create a commission piece for them,
Sure.
where would they go?
Well, they can go on my website, which is Temi, my name, Temi, Fine Arts with an S. So
Mm-hmm.
it's temifinearts.com. You
Mm-hmm.
can go there and actually take a look at what I have and fill out the contact form.
Mm-hmm.
Another easier way to get through to me is going on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And my Instagram page is Temi underscore modern art.
Okay.
And you can go there and you can DM me. And I always get back in touch with people within 24 hours, unless I'm on the road. So I always say, please bear with me. I could be on the road.
Right.
But I always, contact them back and then we schedule time where we can actually talk just like you and I are doing right now.
Now, is that the same place they'd reach out to you if they wanted to hire you as a stress management coach?
For now, yes. For
Okay.
now, that's the place. And the reason is because I just got my certification recently, and I did that deliberately
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted, I've been doing it for so long, and it's like, wait a minute, I just want to get the certification because I want to put a lot of, future clients at ease. The clients that I've helped in the past, because of my background in occupational therapy, they know, okay, she knows what she's doing. It's worked. It's helped them before.
Right.
But for new clients, I just want them to know, okay, I'm certified, if that makes you more comfortable. And I do not have an official business, for that, but like I said, incorporate that with my art. So people can always contact me through that and let me know if this is what they're going through. Okay, we'll take it from there.
Temi, before we finish up on this interview, could you tell me what is the one thing you'd like to leave people with in concerning what you do and your artwork?
Okay. Well, thank you once again for having me. And one of the things I like people to understand is the fact that in the world that we live in, stress is something that is normal, number one. So do not think you can live a stress-free life. That is not true. Mm-hmm. Stress is everywhere, but it's normal. But it's when it's too much for you to deal with that you need help. Now, the artwork that I do provide, that I do have available, actually helps with that. However, if you're just looking for artwork that you can use in your home as an aesthetic, to transform your environment, be it at home or in your office or somewhere else that you go, your beach home or wherever it is, I do have a variety of artworks that I do. They're abstracts, they're naturalistic paintings, and you can always go on my website to see that. I do commissions of all forms. And in case you're wondering, why don't I stick to one particular thing? I'm an artist. I can do basically whatever I want to do, but my purpose is to bring a smile, joy, and happiness to the people that buy my work. And that's what I just want people to know.
Well, Temi, thank you. And if you'll stand by for a minute for an announcement that I like to make. At the end of each of my show, I like to ask my guests and viewers to please thank a veteran. Or is it over this way? Put up both fingers. If you would go to the nevcc.org/projects, you can participate in the Basket Brigade. There you'll find 12 chapters filled with opportunities for you to tell an American veteran, thank you for your service. In January, it's all about a fresh start. So leave a note for a veteran telling them how you made a fresh start or how they can make a fresh start in the future. If that's not your thing, there are 11 other chapters that you can pick from that has a topic dedicated to each month that will allow you to tell a veteran you appreciate them. So, ladies and gentlemen, please go to nevcc.org/projects and thank a veteran. Temi, thank you for coming on the show with me today.
Thank you.
Stress during this pandemic has been something we've all had to deal with. And I truly pray that your business, as you begin to develop it even more, prospers and accomplishes all the things that you're looking forward to do. And I thank you for your time and this opportunity to share what you do here on Talk to Me.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you too. Be blessed, everyone. Remember, the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. Choose wisely, be blessed, and take care of your mental health.